This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner, licensed mental health counselor in the state of Florida. Moments of Clarity's mission is to educate and end the stigma on mental health through the inspirational stories of our exceptional guests. You can join in the show by calling Tiffany toll-free at 866-826-1340 or on Facebook and Twitter at MOC with Tiffany. Now, here's Tiffany Werner.
Hey, thanks for listening. This is Moments of Clarity. I'm Tiffany Werner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And today we're going to be talking about something that is very common and more common than a lot of people realize. It's obsessive compulsive disorder. And not only that, but it stems from anxiety disorder and depression and so many things. And today I have a specialist with me, Dr. Robert Lancer, and he's a New York State licensed psychologist. And he specializes with not only OCD and anxiety and depression, but he has a strong commitment to serving people who are affected by OCD. He successfully used cognitive and behavioral therapy to treat OCD, depression, and anxiety. And after working with OCD, Dr. Lancer is able to deliver the highest quality of treatment with his unique insights to OCD and anxiety, to ensuring that a person will have a reduction in their symptoms rapidly. And quick solution focused and targeted therapy is my style completely. And I want to welcome to Moments of Clarity, Dr. Rob. Hi, Dr. Rob.
Hi, Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany. Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
It's so nice to have you. Sorry for the late start. We got a little bit of a few different things going on here, upgrades. But welcome to Moments of Clarity. And I want to welcome callers to call in, 866-826-1340, 866-826-1340. And we're taking callers live until 1. So it's Dr. Lancer, but today you're allowing us to call you Dr. Rob, correct?
Yes, certainly. It's fine.
I appreciate that. So how did it start for you? How did you become an expert on obsessive compulsive disorder and anxiety? A lot of us therapists, we tend to go into a field for a passion for a reason. So,
right. So basically, the first sign I ever saw was which I read in my book, is about my grandmother suffering from severe anxiety and depression. And from there, I learned as a young child, about 7 to 8 years old, that I actually had some form of OCD. It started off kind of mild, but then it got severe in high school.
What were some symptoms that you noticed back then?
Just severe anxiety, not being able to sleep at night, having intrusive thoughts that, harm can come to my family, a variety of just kind of day in and day out anxiety about, catastrophizing about littler things. And it seemed from afar that, my parents looked and said maybe there's just looking for attention or something else. But, I internally I was struggling, looking for an answer.
And so just as a little kid, that must be really confusing.
Right. Thank God now there's the internet and parents have the ability to look on and find it rather quickly. We're talking back in 1984, 85, 86 when that wasn't possible. So until basically I had to live two lives, you could say. One life where I was playing varsity sports, baseball, football, soccer, track, swimming, and on the other end, I was suffering in silence. So my mission has really been to end the suffering in silence.
And so what did you do?
At around 18 years old, I got diagnosed, and I started volunteering. There was really no therapy available, so I started volunteering. I ran a group. I started my own support group, and by helping others, I started helping myself. I got involved in the Obsessive Compulsive Foundation, which is now the International Obsessive Compulsive Foundation.
Good job.
I started speaking for them, and I found my mentor, Dr. Janicki, up at Harvard University, who's been a wonderful role model, and has kind of shown me the way, and I recovered and decided at that point, after college, to go in and become a therapist for this exact thing that plagued me as a child.
And so you went and you specialized with obsessive compulsive disorder, but how did that plague you so much?
Well, I had OCD, so it wasn't the type of OCD with contamination, washing,
Well, explain for
anyone knows
our
me,
listeners what OCD really means, like, for people that don't understand.
All right, so OCD in the simplest form is that I call them intrusive obsessive thoughts. Mm-hmm. Because basically people might have a thought and they can't get out of their head, it's a terrible thought, but the average person is able to shake it off and to be able to go on with their day. Mm-hmm. Where OCD really comes in is where there's intrusive thoughts. The frequency and intensity is very high. It has an effect on the person's life, whether they're in school, work, socially, with their family relationships. So they're having intrusive thoughts that others would have, but at an extremely high rate, which generates anxiety. So that's the obsessive part. Not only could they could be thoughts, but they could also be images or urges. The compulsive part I broke down over the years to mean anything and everything to get rid of your anxiety. So it could be any ritual, anything you do to get rid of your anxiety, and that's the compulsive part.
Like clicking doors 3 times or light switches 3 times.
Right,
or
like checking a door
going
that
back
is locked
to check
over and over.
coffee machine over and over and over again. Or
Right, it's created by this insatiable what-if doubt of basically the worst-case scenario happening.
Right, and a lot of people, it does get out of control. And there's a movie I keep referring to called As Good as It Gets. When I talk about obsessive compulsive disorder, Jack Nicholson really played a good role in that. And it's with Helen Hunt, Jack Nicholson, and a few more people. And he just gets severe. He can't walk from carpet to tile without feeling weird into a different room. And he'll step over cracks on the walk while he's walking through the city or whatever. And at the very end of the movie, they were saying, he was like, she's mad at me. He gets her upset because he has no filter at this point. And he's like, she's mad at me. She'll never talk to me again. And his friend goes, buddy, the one thing that we love most about you is your ability and your willingness to humiliate yourself. And a lot of times it's...
Right. That movie did point out a lot of aspects that probably people would look at and think it was Hollywood sensationalized and that, someone would never do that. But in fact,
they do.
Some of the symptoms in that movie, they do. Mm-hmm. And I think even a better movie that I reference is Aviator.
I haven't seen that one.
Right. It shows Howard Hughes,
who
was the inventor of TWA. Uh-huh. He created the airline. He was the first, basically, he was the first person to create a boat that actually flies. He was celebrated. He was in Hollywood circles. And it shows how someone that successful, that socially involved, that well-respected, that wealthy, that educated, basically has his true downfall with OCD and winds up locking himself in a room and, unfortunately, pretty much dying that way.
Like, developed agoraphobia out of it. Because they say anxiety
he just became... Right. It was so much obsessive-compulsive behavior that he was scared to leave the room.
Right. Well, it can...
With fears of contamination.
Do you strongly believe that anxiety is a learned behavior, and if we don't treat it, it can get worse and worse and worse within our own mind if we don't change our perception on some things? I mean, it's not all in our head, of course not, but some things can evolve and get worse without treatment. Wouldn't you say?
Right. I explained that the brain is a body part too. So when you think about it, it's just there's chemicals that are going on in the brain, serotonin, dopamine. Just these are the chemicals that make you happy or bring pleasure. And when this is off kilter, it's literally like a person can have an element which they were born with, which is genetic, but it's also strongly learned behavior as well. Mm-hmm. The way of coping, the way of perceiving things, the way of interpreting things. So it's kind of a combination of both.
Right. I thank you for explaining that. And especially with phobias, which is the negative intrusive thought.
Right. I call them superstitions on steroids, almost where everyone has a superstition.
I like that. Superstitions on steroids, huh? It's true.
Right. Everyone has superstitions. Everyone thinks maybe if I step on a cracker, if I don't wear this collar to an interview, that it will go bad. it's rendered over and over, and the anxiety makes them bring to a breaking point where could it be true? Could it be true? What if it is true?
Or even athletes, they don't want to wash their jockstrap or their socks until the end of the season.
Right, exactly. I'd rather not think about the jockstraps and strap. I'd rather not think about men's jockstraps, but that's a good point, in case in point.
Yeah, there's some non-hygienic phobias. They're just...
Well, yeah, there's definitely, but those, if you actually ever watch a baseball game, to this day, a pitcher, when they exit the field, will not step on the white line that goes down from home plate to first base. They jump over the line. And you can see it today, even...
I just thought it was courteous not to mess up the chalk. But just...
Yeah, it could be it could be very extreme, and that's just what you're saying. That brings out the challenge of living with someone with OCD.
Right.
You love someone, you know their potential, you know their strengths, but at the end of the day, they're coming home and they're examining whether you move something, whether you wash something properly. So unfortunately, that could overshadow a person's personality and character. And I always say, don't let your disorder define who you are.
Absolutely. And yes, don't let your disorder define who you are. And you are you've got a lot going on, and there's a lot of reasons that you actually got into it, and I want to get to it. We're going to take our first break, okay? And we'll be back with Moments of Clarity in just a moment. Also, callers call in 866-826-1340. We'll be back right with Moments of Clarity right after this.
You're listening to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner. We welcome your input at 866-826-1340. Tiffany will be right back after this.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
SWAT Roofing would like to share some crucial information that is misunderstood by 60 to 70% of homeowners. Did you know that a damaged roof by hail or wind, in many incidents, can actually lower your premium instead of raising it when filing an insurance claim? After your new roof goes on, many premium-rated companies will want your policy to be with them and will offer the new incentives to get it. SWAT is a debt-free company with over 18 years in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We believe in helping you fully understand the interpretation of your policy and the way it can work in your favor. Call today or go online at www.swatcontracting.com, or for a free roof inspection, call 214-449-9983. Did you know that your physical health plays a big role in your mental health? Healthy minds and healthy bodies go hand in hand. The problem for many is finding the time and getting the results they want. X-Force Body is perfect for people with busy schedules, with a mission to inspire you to become leaner, stronger, and in the process healthier. X-Force Body coaches will encourage, motivate, and inspire you through every workout, helping you achieve the results you desire. Learn more about X-Force Body at the grand opening of their new location in South Tampa on May 8th from 5 to 7 p.m. For more information, visit www.xforcebody.com.
Hi, this is Tiffany Werner, your host of Moments of Clarity. Living with a mental health disorder is not easy. If you or someone you know are struggling with this, please know it's so important to seek treatment, and I'm here to help. Please visit the website at momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com to view blog posts and resources on this site to help educate and inspire you to take action, because there's no shame in seeking help for mental health. While you're there, please take a few seconds to sign up for my email list. You'll get some extremely valuable educational and entertaining content that can be sent right to your inbox each week. Plus, you'll also get instant and free access to my guide on managing your anxiety. You can also follow me on Twitter at MOC with Tiffany and at Facebook at Tiffany Werner. And once again, the website is momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com. Thank you so much for your support and for listening to your show, because change can only come when we stand together as one.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
We are back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner. To join in the discussion, call 866-826-1340. Now, here's Tiffany Werner.
Hi, thanks for listening. And if you're just tuning in, this is Moments of Clarity. I am Tiffany Werner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. My guest today has an exciting journey that led him to become a licensed psychologist from New York State, and specialized in treating, and he literally specializes primarily only with this, with obsessive compulsive disorder, anxiety, and depression. Some therapists, like myself, go on and try to certify it and become, I guess, more